Hello Apple Hot Tips, this is Charlie and I'm here to show you how to downgrade your iPhone or iPod Touch down to a previous firmware that is no longer being signed by Apple. So you can see here I'm running iTunes 10. You may want the latest version of iTunes to do this process. And you see my phone is currently under software version 4.1. This is an iPhone 4. For this demonstration, I'll be using the iPhone 4. This whole process works with any iPhone. So don't think you need an iPhone 4, and don't think you need to be on software version 4.1, because this applies to all firmwares. The first thing you'll need to understand is that you must have what's called SH hashes saved for your device. To know if you have those saved or not, look in Cydia and see the green text at the top of the page. If you see this device has SHs on file for iPhone OS, iOS 4.0, 4.01, 4.02, 4.1, 3.13, 3.12, doesn't matter. Any of those firmwares, those are the firmwares you are going to be able to restore to later using this process. If the firmware you wish to restore to is not in this list, and it is not currently the latest edition of the Apple firmware, you cannot restore to it. So make sure you have this in this list. If you haven't been saving SHs, you won't be able to follow this process. In the future, you may want to start doing so. So let's get started. I have my iPhone 4G connected to iTunes 10. The first thing you're going to do before you do any of this is download the latest firmware. I'm sorry. Download the firmware you wish to restore to. For this exercise, I'm going to be restoring to iOS 4.01. This is the last version that's able to be jailbroken at this time. So once you've downloaded this official firmware, not a custom firmware, not something you pwned, this is the official Apple firmware. The next thing you're going to have to do is change your host files. To change your host files on a Mac, go to the Finder, which is just your desktop, any part of your desktop. As long as it says Finder here, you're good. Go to Go, and then go to Folder. In the box, you're going to type in /etc and hit Go. You'll be brought to your etc folder. This is a hidden folder on your Macintosh HD. In other words, you can't see it unless you type this in. Here, you'll see the file hosts. Right-click hosts and open it with text edit. Here's the part that's cool. In your host files, you're going to add this line to the bottom of them. Let me zoom in a little farther so you can see that. You're going to add the highlighted line to the bottom of your host files, 74.208.10.249 space gs.apple.com. Once you have added this to the bottom of your host files, make sure to save the document. After you save the document, and granted, you may not be able to save it like I was going to, you'll notice I got the message, you do not have permission to do this. That's okay. To get around that error, copy the file and paste it to your desktop. Now alter this, save it to your desktop, and then replace it with the current one. You'll need to authenticate it in order to do so. And that's all you have to do. Your host files are changed now. Now to restore. To restore the iPhone, on a Mac, hold the Option key and click Restore. This will give you the option to choose which firmware bundle you want from your hard drive. You're going to select the firmware bundle that you have previously downloaded. In my case, you want 4.01. This is 4.1. I want 4.01. So navigate to where you saved 4.01. and select it. This will ask you if you want to erase and restore your iPhone to this firmware. Confirm. iTunes will extract it and restore your iPhone to the designated iOS version. Again, this process only works if you've saved your SHs with server using Tiny Umbrella or using Cydia. When you first open Cydia, you'll have the option to make your life easier. There'll be a little pop-up window that pops up on your screen. There'll be two options on the question it says. They'll say, yes, make my life easier, or no thanks. If you select make my life easier, Cydia will save your SHs on file automatically every time you change your firmware. So you can't see my iPhone right now, but it's restoring. I've got a black Apple screen, and it is restoring. We'll skip ahead a little bit in the video here, and we will come back when it's done. Okay, we're back. Now, we have received an error that says the iPhone Charlie 4G could not be restored. An unknown error occurred. Don't panic when you see this warning. The iOS has been installed on the phone. iTunes just doesn't want to authenticate it now. The iPhone is now stuck in recovery mode. To get it out of recovery mode, we'll be using a program known as Tiny Umbrella. This is the same software that you use to save your SHHs without using Cydia. To use this, we're going to open up Umbrella. Now the device is in recovery mode. Select Kick Device out of recovery. My iPhone is restarting. And my phone is turned on. Now it asks me, would I like to set it up as a new phone or restore from a backup? And I can select any one of my previous backups. For this exercise, I'm going to set this up as a brand new phone. And select Continue. I'm going to select to sync applications, as well as calendars, notebooks, and etc. Click Done, and the iPhone goes to restore. And that's it. If you could see my screen right now, you would see iPhone is activated, sync in progress. My iPhone is syncing like normal, and I'm running software version 4.0.1. If you follow these steps, you can do it easily too. Now, one last thing I want to bring up is Windows users, because I did this on a Mac, and a lot of you Mac guys out there don't actually have Macs. So the same process is used with a Windows computer, except, hang on, I have a lot of mail accounts. Alright. The same process is used with Windows, except the directory is different for the host files. Follow these instructions to edit your host files. this is what the host files look like. To edit your host file, follow these instructions. The edited host file will look like this when you're complete. And that's it. That's all you'll have to do. Your iPhone can be restored to 4.0.1 or any other firmware you choose. As long as you have the firmware in the top window here in Cydia, you're good to go. Happy hacking, everyone.